Norm Macdonfelt, the realest news anchor on TV. The Washington Redskins have decided against moving forward with a name change, but instead will replace their mascot. Despite the national coin shortage, opinionated a-holes are being asked to not put in their 2 cents. In sports news, we look at a sport we all play and love called life. This week we pit World War I up against the challenger COVID-19. World War I had an American casualty rate score of 116,516. Whew! That's gonna be a pretty hard number to beat, but let's see what COVID-19 has up its sleeves. Ho-ho! Oh, and that number just keeps growing. Well, tough loss for World War I, but we have to give this win to COVID-19. Some fans of the sport, life, would like to see COVID-19 stand toe-to-toe with the flu. So, let's see how many Americans die each year on average from the flu. A devastating difference. Maybe, perhaps, we should stop saying that the coronavirus is just as bad as the flu, because clearly it's much worse. With only 2 weeks left in July, I know that I, Norm Macdonfelt, feel very strongly about a particular issue that many have opposed, and, well, you know what? I'm just gonna tell you through song. Hit it!
Still 5 months away from my most favorite time of the year, and I don't know if I can wait to feel that warmth and cheer. If I could have one wish, it would be to have it early now. Yes, at this moment, something you have thought of, surely Christmas in July. I have made copies for each of you. Please do not deviate. Just buy what I've told you to. Christmas in July. Much needed happiness spread. Don't risk waiting till December. We could all be dead by then. We could be dead. We could be dead. We could be dead by December, yes. We could be dead. We could be dead. We could be dead by December. Oh, we could all be dead. Let's do it now. Let's have our Christmas in July. The time is right. Let's do it. Let's give each other presents, yes. Buy me things I want, then you can give them to me, and I'll open and smile real big and say things like you shouldn't have. Give me these things I've told you to. Buy them with credit cards, because by December we could all be gone and you won't have to worry about death. Yes.
Joining us to discuss his complaints about beaches is our very own Weekend Puppdate correspondent, John Complainey.
So you want to know what I think about beaches? Okay, let's talk the beach. Let's have a beach sesh, or as I like to say, the floor is lava tepid edition. This is one of the most overrated settings for a family vacation. I think it was our Lord and Savior Anakin Skywalker who once said, "I don't like sand. It's coarse, it's rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere." To you, good sir, I say truer words have never been spoken. Let's break it down. It's coarse. It's rocks and silicon broken down to the perfect size that it can pour out of your hand like a liquid, but invade your senses when you crunch into your sandwich that got dusted by an 8-year-old running who hasn't been broken by the world yet. Basically, sand is glass and parents are monsters who enthusiastically scream at their children, "Who wants to go to the beach and roll around in some hot glass?" Huh? Sounds fun! Number 2, it's irritating. You know how the can opener was only invented like a few decades after the can? When were those little foot showers by the beach invented? I don't know for sure, but I know it was in the last 100 years. I also know for sure that a little bit of sand remained in a lot of pairs of shoes before this humdinger of an invention. Can you imagine the person who pitched that invention? Hold on to your hats, fellas. Have you ever been to the beach, got sand on your feet, and wanted to get it off when you showered afterwards, but were too goddamn lazy to lift up your feet a foot to spray them off? Well, have I got the thing for you? Tiny showers. Good for your feet at the beach, and for elves if they're real, we don't know. Tiny showers. This brings us to the final point of my dear sweet Anakin. Sand, it gets everywhere. You ever go through your bag when you get home from the beach and you find sand in it? You empty it out in your kitchen and the dog immediately spreads it around, because dogs aren't educated. Or when you finally clean out your car because you saw Marie Kondo once and you wanted to pretend you care about appearances, and you pull up the foot mats and you see sand you recognize from years before. Like you can see the years of sand and dirt in layers like a cross-section of an archaeological dig. But it's not an archaeological dig, it's just regret. Well, I'm John Complainey, and those are my complaints about beaches.
Hi, I'm Suzzanne Susanna Anna Handa, and welcome to another segment of Not Helpful News. That's right, we taking over. Black Puppets Matter, beat. The CARES Act, which provided millions of out-of-work Americans with $600 a week of unemployment, expires at the end of this month. Wait, what? This month? I gotta get my OnlyFans page back up. Oh no. In response, White House advisor and haunted nepotism Barbie, Ivanka Trump, has publicized a new employment initiative called Find Something New, which encourages those out of work to just enter a new field. For example, former restaurant employees can just transition into making DIY hazmat suits for the second wave. The website includes links to vague certificate programs with no information on how to pay for them and no effective employment resources. People are calling the initiative tone deaf, noting that find something new sounds condescending coming from a trust fund monster whose job is first daughter. I, on the other hand, want to give credit to Ivanka for not naming it the Let Them Eat Cake initiative. Hey, Ivanka. First of all, thanks for watching. I know you're a big fan. Second of all, sit down and shut your stupid mouth. People are trying to provide for their families and stay alive during a global pandemic and global political unrest. You've provided them with a list of beginners coding classes? People are clamoring for work and a way to feed themselves and their families. So either come up off some of the millions you and your daddy didn't earn, or shut up and pray the guillotines don't make a comeback. Otherwise, you're not helping. In other not helpful news, Goya president Robert Unanue publicly praised Trump's leadership, angering members of the Latinx community and fans of salty adobo nationwide. In response, many have called for a boycott of Goya products. Ivanka, also known as Daddy's Little Ghoul, decided to publicly endorse Goya in a tweet while displaying her rudimentary Google Translate skills. Like, girl, you not finna season them beans, or even open the can for that matter. Who you fooling? But, as it turns out, White House executive branch employees are prohibited from using their position to endorse products. Yes, even if the CEO said something nice about their daddy boss. Walter Schaub, former director of the Office of Government Ethics, tweeted, "Miss Trump has had ethics training. She knows better." Which, how does Schaub know that? Does the Find Something New website have a link to basic ethics courses? Is there a don't violate federal laws certificate she can get? But more to the point, who is she really reaching out to with this nonsense? Is anybody taking cooking advice from this haunted Bratz doll? And what's with the Spanish girl? Your dad regularly imprisons Latinx refugees and tried selling Puerto Rico before Hurricane Maria hit. Allegedly. And now you out here talking like a gringa Malibu Stacy, holding a can of salty beans like it's a Wheel of Fortune prize, and you Vanna white supremacist. Someone should beat you over the head with a chancleta for this mess. You and your crooked racist daddy belong in jail. Between the way y'all play with the emoluments clause and won't release your tax returns and trash the CDC, Dr. Fauci, and the World Health Organization during this unprecedented global pandemic, 67,000 COVID deaths reported. And your daddy talking about, oh, don't report the deaths. And you over here talking about el sabor de sodium, like you ever had a can of Goya beans in your entire cold, empty, hollow life. You, your creepy daddy, and that entire administration are the epitome of not helping. Anyway, I'm Suzzanne Susanna Anna Handa, and that was Not Helpful News. Now, let me go ahead and get me a drink. Damn.
Tonight we have a very special musical guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Xantheartist.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the Weekend Puppdate. This is for you, Norm.
Let's go.
Twisted snare. Yeah. Twisted snare trapped in his heart to bear. The beast unleashed and came attacked, fully prepared. Yeah. See how Zulu broke out of his chains and cage, and now is the primal attraction stepping on the main stage. They gonna sleep on me, bet you they bout to see. I got that fire, got that smoking, boy, you know I got that heat. Translation means I got some bars on beat, and I can kinda sing, harmonizing melodies. Yeah. Sophisticated pedigree, inspiration, Father Ye, resting now peacefully on my king size Emperor P. Yeah. See how I can build and compounding up my words, so you not scared at the compounding.
Let's go.
Your girl.
Let's go.
Switch it up on the track right now. Can I hit it from the back? Right now. Counting up my racks right now. This is when a Xan attacks right now. Breaking out my cage, different kind of breed. There is no other animal like me. I'm twisted, so twisted. I'm twisted, so so twisted. Breaking out my cage, different kind of breed. There is no other animal like me. I'm twisted, so twisted. I'm twisted. Okay, it's a trap.
I'm a different type of beast, different type of animal. Lion king in these streets. When I'm unleashed, you were just antelope. Just can't wait to be king. Predators prey for my prey. You better make way, I'm a slay. I settle vendettas, competitors stay in your lane. Aside of your fate in the grave. Hang with the wolves, we be howling at the moon. We be mooning at the stars, you be staring at your doom. We don't even need the rock. Middle finger to the ops. Wants a beetle to a shock. 50 deep up in the spot. There's an eagle for the flock. Feet on the weekend, you reach me teeth and you drop.
Switch it back on the track right now, right now. Can I hit it from the back right now, right now? Counting up my racks right now, right now. This is when the Xan attacks right now, right now. Breaking out my cage, different kind of breed. There is no other animal like me. I'm twisted, so twisted. I'm twisted, so twisted. Breaking out my cage, different kind of breed. There is no other animal like me. I'm twisted, so twisted. I'm twisted, so twisted. Let's go. Switch it back on the track right now, right now. Can I hit it from the back right now, right now? Counting up my racks right now, right now. This is when the Xan attacks right now, right now. Switch it back on the track right now, right now. Can I hit it from the back right now, right now? Counting up my racks right now, right now. This is when the Xan attacks right now, right now.
Let's go. It's a wrap. Peace.
Our final story tonight. Last week, disregarding advice from his own health experts, President Trump, the Big Daddy D, threatened to cut funding if schools do not fully reopen in the fall. Trump also attacked the CDC's reopening guidelines for schools that would, help keep kids safe as being onerous and expensive. Now, I, Norm Macdonfelt, totally know what onerous meant before reading that. But to help out, some of you at home who might not know, because, I just said I totally did, we're going to read the definition to you right now. Onerous, adjective, of a task, duty, or responsibility involving an amount of effort and difficulty that is oppressively burdensome. Let me just use it in a sentence pertaining to this situation. President Trump thinks keeping kids safe from getting sick or dying is increasingly onerous. Onerous. Well, we know who has a dictionary on toilet paper now, huh? This brings us to tonight's segment of Breaking the Norm.
Breaking the norm, breaking the norm, breaking the norm, breaking the norm.
Trump has threatened to cut funding to schools that don't reopen, even though he has already cut school funding in the past and will continue to cut funding regardless. This year, they propose cutting funding by $5.6 billion, and in 2019, did so with a $7.1 billion cut to the Department of Education. Sending those kids back to school, okay? You gotta send them. But only give them dirt and rocks to learn with. And I'm talking everyday rocks that you can find in the woods. None of those nice rocks they use for landscaping, okay? The president says that kids want to go back to school. His reasoning is if kids go back to school and get sick, then they're allowed to stay home. And what kid doesn't love a sick day, baby? Oh, wait, no kid? No kid likes to be home legit sick with life-threatening virus? Huh. Makes you really rethink Ferris Bueller's Day Off if instead of Ferris pretending to be homesick from school, so he could play hooky and live life to its fullest. If he were like home, bedridden, actually deathly sick with the coronavirus, just wishing that he could live long enough to see graduation. Kind of changes that quote. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look at it once in a while, or operate with precaution during a global pandemic, you could miss it. Literally. In Texas, where COVID-19 cases are spiking, teachers are making sure their wills are in order before the state forces them back into overcrowded classrooms. Betsy DeVos, the United States Secretary of Education, has been quoted saying that each individual school will know and be able to figure out how they can reopen and operate safely. You are absolutely right, Betsy. Schools and teachers do know what it's like in the classroom and are completely aware that there is no chance in hell you can keep Booger Finger Bobby socially distanced from Hugs Too Much Howie, let alone ensure that the rooms are 100% clean for Loves to Lick Windows Lorelei. And even if they could, they don't have the funding to begin with to hire enough teachers or to spatially correct the generous average of 20 kids per teacher ratio that exists in most classrooms across America. We're already doing a massive disservice towards our youth and their education in this country. It cannot be the norm for our government to continually strip away, pinch, squeeze dollars from our ridiculously underfunded educational system, let alone in these unprecedented times, threaten to strong-arm and to bully our schools out of the little money that they get. It's pretty sick, if you ask me, to act like that you're dangling a carrot in front of our nation's educational providers, when you know it's not even a carrot that you're teasing anymore. It's half of a piece of parsnip. You sick bastards! Who willingly eats parsnip? But I guess you do if you're starving. Break the norm.
Breaking the norm, breaking the norm, breaking the norm, breaking the norm.
Well, that's it for this week. I'm Norm Macdonfelt reminding you that no news is good news. Good night.